This is a 24-foot versatile swather. It's 1970s era. Before we had this, we had a 16-footer and a 14-footer, so this one seemed huge, but modern swathers are about twice this size. You can see the canvases. The canvases. And those are the teeth and the guards. So the teeth go back and forth, similar to the hay bind, and cut the straw off. And these canvases turn and take the cut grain and deposit it in the hole. And put it in a nice long windrow so we can come down with the combine and pick it up. Straight combines have the swather part is built right onto the front of them, so they can take standing grain and cut it and run it straight through the combine if it's dead ripe or close enough that they're going to dry it. We straight combine for a few years and kind of stopped doing that. I'll just come back to this, but this is a little bit of oats wrapping around on the shaft. You need to get these cut off because there's a bearing there. If this stays on here too long, the heat will build up in there with it rubbing, and that's someplace a fire can get started. So when you see that happen, you need to shut down and clean it up. I just wrapped up last night before I quit. So the reason why we swath is to knock the standing grain down and put it in windrows, and it takes it, if it's uneven, it stops it from growing and kills the weeds and speeds along the ripening process and evens everything up. If you don't swath it, you can take your chances that the field's even enough, it'll ripen on its own. But a lot of people now, they use glyphosate to even everything up. This field, part of it was pretty close to being ready to straight combine, but kind of the sloughs and the low spots and some of the gopher holes and stuff closer to the bottom down there were still way too green. So if you're not careful when you're combining, you can pick up a bunch of really green stuff, and then you got something to deal with later on that's a problem. So this swather's pretty light by modern standards. When they started growing more canola and stuff like that, this swather just really wasn't cut out for it. It was kind of a too light a duty deal. It would bind up on the corners and cause all kinds of trouble wrapping up and dragging and not cutting. So the more modern swathers are heavier duty than this. Sometimes on the divider board they can actually have a saw mounted on the outside edge to kind of cut through it, because if this thing here, if it doesn't come across here, this is kind of where things can kind of plug up if it's not shearing off nice and clean. But for the cereal crops that we grow, it's usually not too much of a problem. The other reason why we like to swath is once it's in the swath, if it snows, it's relatively safe. I mean, it's got moisture on it, but at least the whole crop doesn't fall down flat. Because if it goes down flat, then it's pretty hard to pick up. Anyway, that's the old girl. One more day going here. I'm going to get that stuff cut off and grease it, and one more day of swathing, and we'll have our swathing done. Nice morning.
In this clip, Glen is down on the 18 acres of oats that we seeded, and he's just showing us what it looks like when a crop gets lodged. It's possible that these oats were just so heavy that they couldn't stand up anymore. This bunch of oats that we seeded this year, just a small bit of oats, I guess, is going to be used next year to seed for green feed. So basically, that is similar to hay, only it's a cereal crop. So in this case, it's oats, and we're going to be cutting it, rolling it up to feed to the cows in the winter next year.